Hey guys, Mighty Gazelle here with a ranking video, a tier list, which is something I never do on my channel, but here I am. I have played a lot of Marvel Rivals. I think I'm about 55-ish hours of gameplay, and I love this game. As someone who has over 1,600 or so hours in Overwatch and Overwatch 2, I was really looking forward to this game as a change of pace, a breath of fresh air, and it's absolutely delivered. I've had a great time, and I think a lot of these characters are so fun, worth talking about, that I wanted to make a tier list. And before we go any further, no, I'm not a competitive master or anything like that. And Overwatch, I was always like mid diamond ranked, which is still good. Diamond's a good rank, but I was never like masters, grandmasters, all that. So I'm a very competent player. I know the ins and outs of this kind of game, and I just want to get my thoughts. So take that for what you will. Hopefully, any of you who have never seen my channel before, don't just comment, "Oh, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about." Like, it's just an opinion. It's just what I feel going into this tier list maker, and just kind of share my thoughts about these characters. There's some characters I think that are underrated. Some I think are a little bit overrated. Some are extremely strong, and some are weak. It's just another voice on the internet. I hope you guys enjoy. So, let us dive on in. First, we have Adam Warlock. Adam Warlock, obviously, for those of you who don't know, there's three classes of the game. There's support or strategist. There's duelist, which are DPS. And then you have vanguards, which are tanks. Adam Warlock is a healer, support, whatever you want to call it. So the thing about Adam Warlock is he doesn't quite have the same healing output as a couple other healers on this list. So if you can only have one healer on your team, I don't know if he's exactly the choice you'd pick. But in the right team comps, I feel like he can be really good. I'd probably put him like low A, high B. I'll put him in A for now, and I reserve the right to later once everything's on the screen on a tier to readjust. But as of right now, I'd say like low A. I think his res ability is extremely useful, but I think a lot of people don't use it right. They'll revive people in really bad situations, or not do it after an ult. Like, people will revive a whole team, and then they'll get revived, and someone will pop ult and kill them all again. So you gotta manage your res properly. His damage output's pretty good. I think he's one of the more fun healers in my opinion. I like playing Adam Warlock. He's not my main healer, but I do like him. I'll put him in A for now. I think he's pretty solid. Black Panther. Black Panther is a duelist, a character that I very much underrated, or underappreciated. When the game first came out and I was playing around, I barely saw any Black Panthers. None of my friends played Black Panther, and the few that I saw were really bad. So it led me to believe like either he's just really bad or no one knows how to use him. It turns out Black Panther's actually really good. He's a very I don't want to say technical, but you have to really know how to manage your moves. When you're on point with this character, he moves so fast and can hit so frequently and just avoid damage. Now, that being said, it's a very high skill character. You have to be good at managing your speed and your abilities, but in the right hands, he's absolutely a menace. I'd probably put him higher A, possibly S. Again, I reserve the right to change this later, but as of right now, I would put him very high rank. He's a very good character. Yeah. Doctor Strange, in my opinion, and I think a lot of people share this opinion, he is the best tank in the game. And it's not that he's necessarily like just absolutely dominant. It's just he goes so well with almost any team comp. You can dive with him. You can shield your team. He has very high sustain because he can fly up in the air, dodge, block, all that. He's not the funnest to play. He's pretty straightforward. He's kind of like a Reinhardt that can fly and do some range. But yeah, there's nothing wrong about his character. There's nothing about him that's weak. Every part of his kit is strong and supports the team, and is a character that I've recently got into playing. Not my favorite tank, but he is definitely the best in my opinion. So again, I guess a little background about myself. I play a lot of tank in Overwatch, and I play DPS, a little bit of healer, not as much, but mainly tank and DPS. So I was looking forward to the tank roles in this game. There's a tank problem where like a lot of people don't want to play tank. And I say if you don't want to play tank, but your team needs one, Doctor Strange is probably your best bet. He's pretty straightforward, pretty simple to perform adequately with. But if you can master him, he can really be a big boost to your team, I think. Groot's also really good. I'd probably put him in A tier. Something about Groot is he's not overwhelming in terms of power. None of the tanks really are. But Groot's biggest thing is just survivability. He's a tough SOB to kill. He survives so long. He is very annoying. His walls can, like, if you ever, I'm gonna make comparisons to Overwatch sometimes throughout this video. He's like Mei, if Mei embraced the role of tank. Like if she just gained 300 health and could put multiple walls. That's kind of what Groot feels like. And a lot of these characters definitely have some sort of inspiration from Overwatch. It's just kind of, you know, how it is. But again, Overwatch drew a lot of inspiration from abilities from Marvel characters. So, you know, take that for what you will. I think it's fair game. But anyway, Groot, he's kind of fun to play as. His ult is basically a gravity bomb, like a Zarya gravity bomb, except I could be wrong about this. I think it debuffs the people inside of it, makes them easier to take damage. I don't have the exact description in front of me, but that's what it feels like. It's extremely good. He's just a good, solid rock for your team. He has no mobility, though, so, I mean, if you can pin him down, you can take him down. But yeah, I like Groot a lot. I think he's a very good tank. Definitely, I'd probably put him, he's definitely in the, I'd say he's probably like a top 3 tank. We'll get to the others later, of course, but Hela, S tier. She just melts. She's like Ashe from Overwatch, except just better. I could be wrong. I think she can 2-shot 250 health characters, I think. I have a buddy who plays her. I don't really play her much because she's always taken, first of all, but also I don't really care to. She's not really my play style. But if you ever see a top fragger or top kills on your team, top damage, it's almost always a Hela. If they're good, if they're half competent, because she just lands such high damage output. She has decent mobility. She can fly away in a little hawk form. Her ult is great. I'm sure in the higher ranks. I'm only middle of gold right now. The season's just kind of started. Working my way up though. I feel like more competent people will know to either just get out of the way or kill her fast when she's doing her ult. But on the lower ranks that I'm currently in, anytime someone pops an ult with her, it's an easy 2-3 kills, if not more. She is an extremely strong character. I would not be surprised if she's just the most popular DPS character. I think she's cool. Maybe I need to play her more, but it doesn't fit my playstyle just to sit back and throw pins right at people's head. Okay, Hulk. A side note about me, Hulk is my favorite Marvel character of all time, and I think the MCU kind of did him dirty in the last few installments of the, Infinity War and stuff. So I was looking forward to seeing him kind of return to like his glory of just being a beast in this game. And he's really not. I'm tempted to put him in C tier, but I think I'm going to put him in B, and here's why. I've seen some other people's lists. I've seen the conversations about Hulk, and I agree he is definitely among the worst tanks in the game. I do not think he is useless, though. I think that there are times where Hulk can really shine. I think the ability to distribute a Zarya bubble, to everyone within radius of you is so good. You can use it to help prevent let's say Iron Man. He fires an ult. If you time it right, you can shield everyone and protect them. There's a lot of situations just where Hulk can shine. He has a lot of faults though, and that's the reason he's among the worst in the game. His damage output is really not that great. I feel like even Groot probably does more damage than him consistently, but Hulk's a dive tank, so he dives in, smacks around a bit, gets out, and that's kind of how you play as him. He's kind of like Venom. Venom's better, but Hulk and his ult, imagine like Winston Primal Rage, but a little bit different. He is actually pretty strong in his ult. He gets a lot of health. His clap, his gamma burst clap, actually does a lot of damage. So if you're competent with his ult, you can actually land a lot of damage. I play a lot of Hulk. I just wish his base Hulk form was just a little bit either just a little bit more damage. He kind of feels like you're punching with pillows. Just a little more damage, or just a little bit more of self-sustain or survivability. I feel like he just gets melted so fast. And again, that's kind of part of the dive part. You dive in, and they're gonna shoot at you, of course. But I don't know. He just needs a little bit of help. I don't think like a rework or anything. He just needs something. I like Hulk a lot. I'm gonna put him like kind of mid to low B tier. I do not think he's useless. I think a lot of people sleep on Hulk. I think he's actually a lot of fun and has moments to shine. But yeah, that's just me. Iron Man, the character that everyone says, I say everyone, a lot of people say is the worst character in the game, and I can totally see why. I'm gonna put him like, I don't know. I think he probably might be the lowest ranked character I put today. But for right now, I'll be like, imagine this is like bottom of C. I don't think he's quite D, like absolute trash. I think there's moments he can be good, and in the right hands, I think you can be okay with him. But overall, the problem with Iron Man, his damage is solid, especially if you have Hulk. You get the Gamma team up ability where his attacks, some of his attacks do more damage. He actually kind of shreds a little bit. His ult is really good. I feel like if you're competent though, you'll know how to dodge it because it's kind of a long build up. He shouts like, "Here comes my blast," or whatever he says, and boom, boom, there it goes. But you can dodge it. I feel like it's pretty easy to avoid. The problem with Iron Man, really though, is when he's flying around, like in flight mode, he's pretty fast. He's hard to hit, hard enough to hit. That's not the problem. When he goes into the stationary flying around shooting mode, he is just a target begging to get headshot. You could, if you just dedicate 2 seconds of your time, if you're playing Hela or whoever, anyone ranged worth a damn, look at him and just land a few hits and he's dead. And best case scenario, if you're Iron Man, you're going to devote some of your healer's focus to keep you alive, but that's like a losing battle because you have no cover up there. You're going to get shot down. And that's a problem. I don't know how you fix that. I don't know if you add some more mobility to him when he's in that form, but that's sort of what's holding him back right now. He's literally a glass cannon. So yeah, just imagine this as bottom of C. I don't really it doesn't feel quite right putting him in D because I don't think any character in this game is absolutely that trash, like useless. But yeah, I'm putting him there. Again, might re-show it later. I don't know. Jeff the Land Shark, my personal favorite healer. He doesn't do the most healing output in the game. Again, we'll get to the ones that do later. But he's just so much fun. I love Jeff. I picked him up recently, and he has good mobility. He's pretty easy to use. Maybe that's why I like using him. I'm not the greatest healer in Overwatch and stuff, but this is a character that I feel confident learning and getting more comfortable in that support role. It's a lot of fun. I'd probably put him like either top of B or bottom of A. I think he's just a pretty solid character all around. I think he's got one of the more annoying ults. It's a very good ult. What do they call it? It's Jeff or something, where he swirls everyone up and can swim around with them, spit them out. You see it all the time. I do wonder how that holds up in higher play though, because there's a pretty big tell when he's going underground. You're ding, and then he goes under, and then I feel like more competent players they would split up, minimize its impact. But in the ranks that I'm at, this dude will swallow up 2, 3, sometimes 4 people at once, kill most of them unless they can fly or get back to the ledge. And yeah, that's Jeff. He's a cute little guy. I love him. I'll put him at top of A. I might move him to top of B. I might move him to bottom of A. I'm not entirely sure. Ignore this out of date Black Friday ad on the bottom. We're in December. Internet, come on. Yeah, Jeff's a lot of fun. I'll put him at bottom of A. I think I see enough people using him and playing him really well. I'll put him at the bottom of A. I love him. He's so much fun. Loki. Loki is my friend's main healer, and I'm very mixed on Loki. I feel like in the right hands, and my friend's definitely actually very good with him, so I can see his potential. I think he can do great things. He has pretty solid damage output, especially with his clones. If you have all your clones fire at someone, you can just chunk damage. His healing is a little bit harder to land on teammates because it relies on them to be by his totems that he puts down. That does a lot of healing, especially if enemies are shooting at you. People don't really realize this, but if you're shooting at someone inside of a Loki totem, it converts that into even more healing, so you're actually like helping them even more. But it's like, what do? Do you just not shoot? Like, they'll just get healed anyway. So I don't know. It's interesting. But I think his ult is basically an echo ult where he copies an enemy and he can use their ult right away. It's pretty good. Definitely. Is it copy an enemy or is it copy an ally? I can't remember. I've never played Loki, but I've seen him used a lot. I think he's very competent. I'd probably put him at top of B just because as a pure healer, it's harder to consistently heal your team because I think most people, at least in the ranks I'm at and quick play and whatnot, people don't ever go around as totems. They kind of do their own thing. And more competent teams, more players who know what they're doing better, I think they would utilize him better. His clones are annoying. I've seen people fall for like wasting their time, like going after a clone when there's more important things to do. There's a lot of fun things about Loki, and I think he's definitely a solid healer. I'll put him at top of B. I think he's pretty good. Luna Snow, one of the two best healers in the game, in my opinion. Her healing output is just absurd. I feel like of any character in the game, strictly in terms of healing, nothing else, and survivability, she is top. Her ult is basically, imagine Zenyatta's Transcendence, but it lasts like 6 times as long, and you can also transfer it from healing mode to a damage buff mode. I think most people do the healing mode. I don't see too many people do the damage mode. Absurdly good. Her mobility is really high. She does ice skating as her basic movement, so she goes faster. She could put, I didn't know this until recently, she could put basically a Transcendence or a Harmony Orb essentially on someone that gives them slow healing over time. So she's the reincarnation of Zenyatta in this game, but better, like much better. She has a freeze. She can freeze an enemy. I just think so much about this character is so good. I haven't really played her too much, but you see her on almost every team. She is fun. The few times I've played her, she's again more so a pure healer than doing any sort of damage really, but you can probably still get some kills with her. But yeah, definitely S tier. I would probably say she's the best pure healer in the game, in my experience. Magik, a character that I picked up recently and I've gotten really good at. I'm really enjoying Magik. I feel like, I don't want to say she's map dependent, but there's definitely some maps where she thrives. Namely, obviously close quarters maps, where you can kind of go in and out around corners, utilize her AoE spins and various other abilities in her ult. I like Magik a lot. I think she has a lot of potential. She's super fun to play, a lot of high damage output. Her ult, you really have to be careful because you can get melted pretty fast if you're not careful. I would definitely pick your moments right, especially if you're flanking. Maybe call out to a healer like, hey, I'm going in to use my ult. Kind of back me up just a little bit, give you some heals. I think you can really shine with Magik. I think she's a really good character. Yeah, I don't have anything bad to say about her. She's got decent mobility with a dash. She can teleport to give herself survivability, does good damage. I just think she's a great character, really solid, and I wouldn't be surprised if, like, over time, people who got good with her would put her, like, let's see, let's order this a little bit, would maybe have her an S tier, but I think she's just extremely good. A lot of fun. Magik definitely A tier, in my opinion. Magneto. Magneto, I think to me, he is the most boring tank in the game. As someone who plays tank a lot, I think he's just extremely boring, but he's really good. He has a lot of survivability. He has a Zarya bubble where he can either give to himself or to an ally. He has a shield that's on a cooldown. You can't kill it. It just pops up for a few seconds and goes away. His ult, it's kind of like Iron Man's, except I would argue it's like a little bit, it's both better and worse in the fact that it kind of relies on, the more people shoot at Magneto when he pops his ult, it powers it up to make it stronger. And most people at this point have kind of learned to not shoot at him. So they need to like rework that, because like the fact that people learned it that fast that you just don't shoot at him, they have to recoup that some, because that's part of his ult is like shooting at him makes it stronger. So maybe just raise the baseline of his ult and just get rid of that, or passive. I don't know. But anyway, I think he's a really good character. Especially if you pair him with Wanda, which we'll get to. I'm not considering team ups really in this. It is a factor though. It's worth mentioning. I think I'll talk. I have a whole rant about Wanda later. But yeah, I think Magneto's really good. He's probably like bottom of A, top of S, or bottom of S. I'll put him in S. I think he's probably the second best tank in the game. It's tough because there's Doctor Strange, and then there's like a few really solid tanks below him, and then there's like Hulk and yeah. But yeah. Okay, so Mantis. Mantis is the other healer that I think is the best healer in the game. Doesn't have quite the same healing as Luna, but her ult is amazing. It's almost as good as Luna's. She has a lot of good buffs. She can give your teammates damage buff. She can sleep an enemy, much like Anna, and she just has a really good kit. She does a lot of damage. She definitely does more damage than Luna in my experience. I have a buddy who plays Mantis and Cloak and Dagger, we'll get to later, and I've seen a lot of like how good Mantis can be. And if you ever see team comps like and competitive, they almost always have these two, Luna and Mantis. And they synergize so well together because they counter so many ults. They just output so much healing. Yeah, they're clearly the best two healers in the game, no question. Namor, he's tricky. I feel like I've seen a few really good Namors who really utilize his kit well and can just terrorize your team with constant pressure from turrets. Like, even if the turrets are easy to kill, I get people who say that, oh, you just shoot at them for a few seconds. That's a few seconds they're not shooting at you, and you're wasting your time. But if you ignore them, they just get chip damage at you. So it's like you got to kind of deal with them. He's a very annoying character. He's like Hela in playstyle, kind of, but less straightforward. Hela's just more of like pew, 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 just keep pelting the enemy. Namor, you kind of like got to strategize a little bit and do some more things with him. His ult's solid. It's kind of a area denial, knockdown, stun, damage move. It's a lot of fun to see. I love him calling in the whale, and the whale just lands. That's pretty great. I do think he's pretty solid. I'd put him in like bottom of A. I'm gonna put him top of B just because I feel like there's other like duelists that are a step above him in a decent amount, but it's pretty close. It's right. He's right on the edge between A and B. Penny. Oh man, Penny. Penny's difficult because you can feel her impact on a game almost more than any other tank except for Doctor Strange. On defense especially, she is so good at area denial and just being an annoyance. The problem is I feel like she is super easy to kill. She is giant and slow, only has one movement ability, and it's not that hard to follow and track and hit her. But she just has so much uses. Her webbing stuns are so good. The mines kill when you're not paying attention to them. I definitely think she's a very solid tank. I'd probably put her top of B, bottom of A range. I don't think she's on the same level as Groot. I feel like Groot's better, so I'm going to put her on top of B. That feels right. She's a good character. I think that maybe I'm wrong about her, that she has some uses on attack, but I feel like most of her uses are on defense, and I just think she's fun. She's cool. I like her, but Punisher, the soldier of this game. He is what do you say about him? He does a lot of damage output. He has a little bit of everything, kind of like Soldier, where he has some mobility. He has various ways to shoot you, more ways to shoot you. Oh, also he can shoot you with his ult. He just shoots you, and he does it pretty well. He's a pretty solid character. I think he's incredibly boring, and it's so annoying when you're approaching a point and you see him set up in the turret, and you're like, okay, we're either gonna flank around and kill the turret, or just kind of slowly chip away at it from the front. His ult shreds. It turns your team into butter if you're not careful. He doesn't have the highest health though, so you can pick him apart if you're coordinated. I'll put him at bottom of A. I think he's a solid character. I think he's boring as heck. He's just so straightforward. But he's definitely good. He's definitely a good character, but just not for me. Rocket Raccoon, a character that I initially, when I first started playing, I thought was a lot of fun, and I still think he's pretty good, but his healing is not that impressive. The thing that makes Rocket's kind of like support in the sense of like doing the oddball things. Like he can put a revive station that comes in clutch a lot of times, especially if they get a pick on a healer or someone really important like a tank. And they get revived or right back in the fight. That's really good. His healing output is just kind of low. His damage isn't that great. His ult, the damage booster, it's like Arisa's old drum she used to put down and gives everyone a damage boost. It's good, but there's a character that does it better, and I will get to her later. So yeah, Rocket, not a bad character. He's definitely useful. Would I say he's the worst healer in the game though? He's the worst healer. But as for a strategist, he's not that bad. I think B is a totally solid tier. S is just like the borderline broken / like essential characters. A are exceptionally good characters that shine and can do a lot of things great. B is, they have some flaws, but overall they have a solid kit. They can get stuff done. They're unique. And then C is just like they're struggling. Like there's too many issues to really suggest them. That's kind of how I view it. And then D would be like borderline useless. And I don't think any character in this game is borderline useless. Okay. We have Wanda. To me, this is going to be maybe controversial. She is the most annoying character in the game to me. I hate fighting Wanda. She reminds me of Sombra. I hate Sombra in Overwatch because she is so annoying. And maybe it's partially because the main character that I main in this game, I'll get to her in a moment. But this character is so annoying to fight because you have to be just on their screen and they can just put their hand up. Damaging you, you're dead. Like, I feel like the skill is so low on this character. I'm not putting her in C tier. I think she's solid. But, god damn, is she annoying. And then, like, oh, I almost killed the Wanda. And then she does her little wraith thing and flies away. And she can do it twice, so she can cover some good distance. And it's so annoying. Her ults, like, I used to think her ult was broken. It's actually not that good because people are already figuring out, like, oh shit, she's shouting at the top of her lungs that I'm gonna blow up. Take cover. She shouts it literally. She might as well say that. Like, you can pretty easily shoot her out of it or just find some cover. It's not that bad. There's moments where she can still get team wipes and stuff. I would put her. I think Namor has more potential than her. I'm gonna put her in B tier. She's still a solid character. I think she's definitely newbie though. Like, if you're not particularly good at aiming, and just like to survive a long time and be annoying, I think that's kind of your character. I don't want to bash on Scarlet mains right now, or Wanda mains, whatever you want to call her. Yeah, I gotta hate her. I would love to put her down here just because how much I hate fighting her as my main. I'll talk about my main in a moment. But yeah. Spider-Man. Spider-Man is definitely the character more than any that I would say if you're good with this character, S tier. For sure. Like his mobility, he struggles sometimes to kill. I've never really played it as him, but I've seen him used a bunch and he used it really well. If you see someone playing Spider-Man, they're usually really good. If you don't see someone playing Spider-Man, it's because they gave up on him and they can't handle the mobility and how much you have to juggle. He's a very tricky character to rank because I feel like, again, potential-wise, he's S tier because he's just so survivable, so fast, does a lot of things well, but I can't put him in S because I feel like at the end of the day, most people aren't that good enough to utilize that, and he's kind of squishy, if not hard to hit. A very small hitbox, but I don't think he's like an absolute menace. I think he's just really solid overall. But yeah, that's my take on Spider-Man. Star-Lord, incredibly good ult, but I don't think the rest of his kit is particularly good. He's like Tracer if she could fly but not rewind. So why that hurts him is Tracer's whole thing in Overwatch is dive in, do a shit ton of damage / annoyance, and then if anything ever goes bad, you rewind and you get out, you get your health back, and you can do it all over again. Star-Lord can't really do that. He flies in, flies around, peppers people, does some good damage, but his only escape option is to do some backflips, which I think you can still hit him during the backflips. It's just harder to hit him. And he only gets 2. They don't cover as much distance. He doesn't get his health back. He's like Iron Man, but better mobility. And that's why he's above Iron Man, because I think his damage output is almost on par, if not kind of on par with Iron Man. And his ult is insane. It's basically just like Soldier 76, but you fly around and you can just aimbot everyone and melt them. He can be shot down though. Like he's not impossible to hit during his stuff. But yeah, I'd probably put him right around there. I think he's solid. I don't think anything is that bad about him, but yeah. Okay, time to talk about my favorite character in the game, Storm. I love Storm, and I'm part of the reason I'm making this video is I see all these ranking videos just think she's kind of trash. And I don't think people really play Storm. Here's the thing. I think people look at Storm and are like, why would I play her when the same kind of shooting mechanic is much better with Hela or with like Punisher or someone who's long range and can just do more damage at a distance. I really feel like people they're overlooking the fact that Storm has an AoE damage buff, a giant circle around her that gives her team increased damage that she can amplify. I think it amplifies up to 18%. I think its baseline is 12% to everyone around her, and it goes up to 18 during her boost. And then I think during her boost, she gets 30%. So she deals some good damage during her boost, which lasts, I think, 6 seconds. The way to play Storm, and not only that, but she's the best flying character in the game, in my opinion. And I will die on this hill. She's much better than Iron Man, because when she pops the wind boost, the base form alone, she moves significantly better in the air than him. But if you pop the boost to get out of trouble, you can escape somewhat frequently. Sure, you can still get shot because you're in the air, but you can find cover fast enough while popping her speed boost. Her damage buff though is so like when shit's hitting the fan and you're around a corner and they don't see you, you're just providing your team with this boost of damage that makes the difference in a fight. And not only that, but when you do the boost, sporadic lightning strikes hit people who are in your circle and deal a decent amount of damage. I can't explain how many times that I've just been flying around, do my thing, shooting at people, and I pop the ult during all the chaos. Not the ult, we'll get to the ult in a second. Pop the power boost, and just I'll just see 2 random, like I'll see kill, and I'm like, I didn't even see them on my screen. They were behind me somewhere, or above me, or below me, whatever. But my lightning strikes that are coming from my power buff just hit them while they're fighting someone else and kills them. They're in critical, boom, that just kills them. And I'm like, oh, hell yeah, this is so cool. She is like a battlefield general. She is so much fun. I would put her, and her ult, oh my god, her ult is incredibly fun, really good to use. Unfortunately, the biggest roadblock to Storm is the fact that these two are meta and are so good, because both Luna and Mantis, their ults hard counter her ult. It's a game of chicken, or a game of cat and mouse, where like if you're Storm and you're playing these two usually at the same time, or at least one of them, who's gonna pop ult first? Because as Storm, when you pop your ult, you almost always want to go to the back line, and you can, and the mobility for the healers usually isn't that great, so you can usually get 1 or 2 of them with your ult if you're good with it. I do it all the time. The problem is Luna pops her ult, just negates it, covers her whole team, you don't do anything. Mantis, pretty much the same thing. Pops it, covers her whole team, nothing happens. But if they pop theirs first, wait for theirs to go away, then go in, you got them. It's a game of who does it first. The thing I love to do is I wait, since they're healers, they're typically going to have a point where they want to cover their team in it. Then you strike. Then after that's over with, you strike. She is so much fun. I don't have the courage to put her in A tier. I would put her at the very top of B. I think she is very slept on. She's so much fun. I feel like I'm just a commander of the battlefield. I can look down. I can make call outs. I can attack someone who might be going for a snipe in the distance. I shoot him with a lightning bolt. She pairs really well with Thor, who we'll talk about in a second. I love we'll talk about her right now. So that's Storm. That's my favorite character in the game. Easily my most game time with her. She's great, a lot of fun, and I think that people really are sleeping on her character. Thor. Thor is awesome. I think Thor is great. I'll put him at top of A tier. I don't think he's quite S, but Thor pairs so well with so many characters. So he's an anchor for Captain America and for Storm. When you're playing, and I love playing Storm, because when you play Storm, he gets an extra 100 health, and she gets the chain lightning. And I know I'm not talking about the team ups that much, but an extra 100 health to a tank is pretty significant, and it helps him a lot. And then helps her a lot too, because she gets the chain lightning. Chain lightning is so dope. You can fire it at a corner, someone on a corner, hits that person, chains to the healers behind him, does some damage to them. It's great. I've gotten many kills that way. But anyway, Thor. He's just a really solid tank. Like, he does good damage. He's the only tank where you can play as him and feel like you're not just a tank. You can actually feel like you're like kind of killing people and doing it that way, which is a lot of fun. I'm trying to play more of him recently. He actually feels kind of like Storm a little bit when he pops his like power up ability and he kind of sends the shards, the blades of lightning. It's kind of like her blades of wind. He's just fun. And he pairs so well with people. He pairs with Hela. He pairs with obviously Storm, as I said. He pairs with Cap, Loki as well. Just fun, just a fun time. He's a great tank. I think he works with a lot of comps. Yeah. Venom. I would probably put Venom right alongside Thor. He's really good. He's the better dive tank between him and Hulk. Unfortunately, I say unfortunately, not that I hate Venom or anything. I just wish Hulk was better. But you dive in, you cause mayhem. You can't kill him because he pops his shield ability. He gets out. I see a lot of the only problem. Some people play Venom and they don't dive out in time. People haven't learned when to dive, when to get out. So you can kill him, especially if you just focus fire on him. He's not unkillable. But I just think his mobility, decent damage output, and I don't know. He just seems overall just such a solid kit. He's great. So that's Venom. I don't have much to say about him. I don't play him, but I see a lot of him. He seems to be really good. Cap. I can do this all day, he says in the movies, and he can do it all day in the games. This guy is so hard to kill sometimes, especially when he pops his Avengers Assemble, Assemble. He shouts it. It's badass. It's cool. Damage-wise, he doesn't really do that much, unless you have Thor. I think Thor gives him a damage buff. I haven't played enough of Cap to know this, like how much it helps, but I think he does get a damage buff. But overall, I'd say he has got some of the lower damage for tanks, but his survivability is so high. He's so goddamn annoying sometimes when he jumps into the point, runs around, just blocks everything. You can reflect with the shield. He's so cool. I love him for that though. It'd be broken if he was super hard to kill and did a lot of damage, but he doesn't really do a lot of damage. He's just like he just survives. I can do this all day, like literally. I don't think he's quite on the same power as Venom and Thor. I still think he's good though. I kind of want to put him like bottom of A, top of B, bottom of A. Yeah, he's good. I think he works well with a lot of people. I think I don't know. He just seems solid to me. There's nothing wrong about him. Bucky or Winter Soldier. I call him Bucky. My friends call him Bucky. Bucky is really good. I've never played him just because his playstyle does not interest me. He has the pistol. He has the Roadhog hook. I hate his goddamn ult where he shouts again, and he just lands down. It seems good, but again, never played him. He seems really solid though. I've seen people kick butt with him. I don't really feel confident in where to put him, to be honest. He's one of the few that I just don't have any experience with, and I'm kind of going off of what I'm seeing. I'll put him. I think I have Jeff a little too high. I'm gonna put him at the bottom of A. Bucky, I'd put right around there. He seems pretty solid. I don't have much to say about him. Sorry if anyone was hoping to hear more about him, but yeah. Moon Knight. Moon Knight's really interesting. So where you place Moon Knight is really dependent on how you feel about his onks, because that's like so much of his damage. If you put your onk at a good spot and a good time where people don't notice it, and you can get a quick pick even if they notice it and then shoot it, if you manage to get a pick in time or two or just do a lot of damage, he is extremely valuable. He does a lot of damage output when in the right situations, and I think I would definitely it's tough though, because it's like it really depends on who you're playing against. If they know about the onks, and I feel like he's somewhat easy to kill unless he pairs with Cloak and Dagger and he gets invisibility ability, which is pretty good. I'm gonna put him at bottom of. I'll put him atop of B. No, I don't know. I think he belongs in A. But where though? I'll put him above Spider-Man just because he's more consistent than Spider-Man. You have to be a good Spider-Man. But yeah, that feels about right. Okay. Psylocke. Psylocke is interesting. I feel like she's the Genji of this game. I feel like in the right hands, she can be really good. The problem is consistency. I've seen really bad Psylocks. Like, we'll have a Psylocke on our team and quick play, and they're just ass. I don't know. Like, I don't play her, but I know what she can do. Her ult. If you have any sort of mobility ability, you can get out of her ult kind of no problem. It's not a big deal. You can just like dash away, jump away, whatever, and it moves really slow, like in this area. So I don't think her ult's all that great. I'm gonna put her at bottom of A for now. Yeah, I'll put bottom of A. Bottom of A is fine. Hawkeye. Hawkeye is S tier in the right hands. His damage output is insane. I think he does more damage. I think he's the only character that can one shot. Actually, Widow might be able to. Might have to correct me on that, but in the right hands, Hawkeye shreds. He melts tanks. His survivability is okay. He can do a double jump, and he has like a sword slash and stuff. I don't really play him, but I know for sure that he belongs in S tier, probably like bottom of S, just from like consistency standpoint. But he's really good. Wolverine. Wolverine's interesting. So I've seen a few good Wolverines in my 55 to 60 hours, but not like, I say 55 hours. I think I'm more around 50. Yeah. 50 hours of gameplay. And I've seen people shred with him. He's got some decent survivability. He does a good amount of damage. I'd probably put him in B just because I can't explain it, but I feel like he just gets melted so fast. Because if you see his dash coming, he'll do his dash. He's got two different dashes, but like once he does those, especially if it doesn't hit anybody, I know he gets his overshield, or he has like is his passive where he gets like an overshield or whatever. I don't think it really gives him that much. I feel like he's a solid character. And again, everyone in B I think is totally solid, totally viable, and I'm putting him near the top of B at that, so he's like borderline A, like a good character. I don't know. I just don't think he's all that threatening. I've never been like, oh my god, they have a Wolverine, watch out. Like, you know, I was like, oh, they have a Wolverine, let's deal with it. You know, Squirrel Girl. Squirrel Girl is a very fun character. And I think she has a lot of good things about her, but she's kind of like, I don't want to say this in a bad way. She's kind of like, if you're new to that shooter, she's like a new player friendly character. She's like Junkrat, just fire. You can get splash damage. She has a root ability with her acorn she throws. The ult, the Scroll Stampede, not that hard to dodge. It does some good damage if people aren't aware of it, or they don't see it coming, or she shouts it out. But I mean, like, if you get out of the way, it's not that. I don't know. She's a solid character. I don't think she's all that threatening. You know what? I'm gonna follow my heart. I'm gonna put Storm at the very bottom of A. Yes, she can get shot out of the sky. I'm sorry, I'm going random here, but yes, she can shot out of the sky, but she's just like the best flyer of the game, in my opinion, of the few that there are. I really, truly think she's underrated. Yeah, Squirrel Girl, though, solid character. I don't, like, I don't know. I don't have too much to say about her. I haven't played her too much. I've seen her used a lot, but she's never been like, oh my god, like, we got to take care of the Squirrel Girl, you know? Okay, Iron Fist. Iron Fist is tricky. So, I've seen extremely good Iron Fist. I've played a bit of Iron Fist too, and I think like his potential is definitely S tier. If you're really good with him, oh my god, he can melt backlines. He can melt tanks, provided he gets like the proper support, gets in, just does his insane damage and gets out. He can heal himself. Good mobility. So much about this character is really good. But I've seen some really bad Iron Fists because people don't properly know like how to get in properly, sustain yourself, when to use your block, how to deal your damage and get out. I think overall he's probably like high A. I don't think he's quite an S tier. I think these characters just, I don't think he dominates a game like these characters do, in my opinion. He's really good though. I think he's a lot of fun and a good character. Widow. Maybe it's just me. I think she kind of sucks. I don't think she's that good. I'll put her at bottom of B because I don't think she's like that bad. I've never seen anyone in any game play a really good Widow. I feel like Hela is just a much better sniper. Hawkeye, a much infinitely better sniper than Widow. I feel like it's so much harder. I don't know why. It's harder to land headshots with Widow than it is these two characters. By a good mile. And her ult is really underwhelming. It doesn't really do that much damage. And it supposedly stuns and slows down an area. I'm just like, I don't see it. I don't feel it. I really just don't think she's that good. I barely played as her outside of a few games where I was like, this doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel good. I don't feel strong. And I'm kind of backed up by that. The fact that like I never see any on my team. I barely ever see any on other teams. I don't know what you do with her. But I don't know. Cloak and Dagger, great character. I don't know where other people land on this character. I kind of want to put her in S. Her and him. I want to put them in S. A friend of mine plays Cloak and Dagger. Dude, he gets consistently like 30 plus K healing games. Insane. And I think the team protection with the cloak, the brief invulnerability that you give people, so useful if done right. Ultimate, so good. Not so much for the damage. The damage is cool that it constantly damages them, but it's the healing. You stand on that healing like aura they put on the ground. Oh, you're cooking. You're on a point. Oh man. I think this is the third best support in the game. Maybe even rivaling like Mantis. Oh, it's tough. Because I feel like Mantis's ult just comes in more clutch. Especially against like I mentioned, like Iron Man, Storm, ults like that. I just feel like Mantis comes in clutch so much better and does arguably better like burst healing to specific person. But the aura bubble that Dagger can put down, I believe it's Dagger. Dagger's the girl, right? And then Cloak's the guy. Dagger puts that huge bubble down. Does pretty solid healing. Helps tanks that dive in. You put the bubble on them and keep them alive a little bit longer and then get out. It's just so useful. I think it's a great character. Yeah, but that's gonna do it for my tier list on Marvel Rivals. Again, I'm not a professional player of the game. I hope to eventually reach, diamond-ish kind of rank. I'm not. It's gonna take a while. I'm currently in the middle of gold. But yeah, I love this game. I just wanted to make a video and talk about it. I don't know how many people are gonna care. At 49 minutes, so hopefully I didn't do this for no one. But if 3 people like this video, hey, that's cool. If you want to hear more about it, if you want to hear me like If you want to see me stream the game, let me know down below. I've been playing a bunch, and yeah, those are my honest thoughts. Again, just an opinion. Don't attack me. Feel free to share yours down below, though. Did I rank someone too high, someone too low? Whatever the case. All right, well, I hope you guys enjoyed, and until next time, it's been Mighty Gazelle, hoping you all have a mighty day. See you guys.